Hi, Dr. Egan, it's Lauren Greenlee, and today I'm going to talk to you about my research on the COVID-19 virus and how it infected the sport and entertainment industry. So the COVID-19 virus originated in Wuhan, China, in a seafood market. They believe that it originated from bats because it is 96% similar to the SARS virus, which originated in that, and that 4% difference likely means that there was an intermediate host. And so to find the exact source of the virus is going to take a long time. It took about 10 years for scientists to find where the source of the SARS virus was, because they have to take blood, urine, and feces samples from thousands of different animals to see who has it. And so it will probably take a while for them to figure out where this virus directly came from. But they do know it was an intermediate host because I think it was 13 or 14 of the original infected 40 people in China had no connection to the seafood market whatsoever. Now for my literature review, I took a lot of things from the Sport Business Journal, and I used, because I was very familiar with it and I knew it was a credible source, and they have lots of information on how our industry is dealing with the virus. It was really interesting to read different perspectives and how different sports are handling this specific issue. My other piece of literature that I used was a podcast called Token CEO. It's hosted by Erica Nardini, the CEO of Barstool Sports, and she does a little 10-minute podcast Monday through Friday, just explaining how Barstool is handling the issue, how she invites other industry professionals on to the podcast as well to discuss how they're handling the issue and opinions and what they're doing to make the world a better place in this time of sadness and darkness and confusion. So the impact on the industry worldwide, obviously it impacted the entire world, considering that this is a pandemic. It canceled the 2020 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, and this is going to significantly impact Tokyo because now they no longer have those 80,000 volunteers, 11,000 athletes, 4,400 Paralympic athletes, and then all of the people who travel from all over the world to view the actual Olympics. They also, the good news is they have about $2 billion in reserves, so technically they could survive without postponing the Olympics. They could just cancel it, but they have postponed them until July of 2021. But I think that Tokyo could really take that time advantage and create, the most unique and special Olympics yet. And I hope that they do that, putting safety at number one and then putting the experience at number two. The other one another worldwide event that was canceled was the Masters. That happens annually, and it really is going to affect Augusta because these are people who literally make a month's worth of income in 1 week. And this has been postponed, so it's really going to mess up quarters on when this is happening. So instead of getting all this revenue in the fourth quarter, or in the first quarter, they're going to be getting it in the fourth quarter. So that could really change things up for some people. Impact nationally, it has impacted all of our sports. It's impacted the way that we're consuming things. We were already dropping down when it came to cable TV and who's watching it, but since there's literally no live sports, there's no reason for people to be watching TV anymore. So people have started just watching Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and all of that stuff because, well, why else were you watching TV? Now you can watch it without commercials and exactly what episodes you want. And I think that cable TV is really going to have to start making some adjustments. Also nationally, it really affected, other than canceling all of the professional sports, I think it really impacted college students the most because, especially college athletes, because seniors and juniors especially baseball, who were planning on being drafted, the draft has been lowered from 40 to about 5 rounds now, which means that instead of about 11% of D1 baseball players going to the major leagues, they are now, there's only going to be about 1% that get a go, which means that this incoming freshman class, it's just going to be so competitive. There's going to be so many kids who, may not get the chance to play for certain teams because there are still juniors and seniors that weren't able to leave that could have been, in the 10th round or something. Like, a really good baseball player is going to be back. And it's going to make college sports really competitive. And I think that will be really cool. But it's going to be interesting since the number of kids on a roster is the same, but you have an extra class added in. Regionally, it's different regionally. I spoke to my mom, who's in Arizona, my dad in Colorado. I was in Florida for the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm now in Columbia. And it really depends on where you are and how it's affecting you. People in Denver, everyone's wearing masks, everyone's wearing gloves, it's required. Here, not so much. Everyone's pretty lax about it. Arizona's pretty lax about it. Florida's really intense. So regionally, it does affect you a lot. It impacted me a lot. I lost both of my internships and both of my jobs. I went from being the busiest girl in the world to no longer having anything to do except for school. I did actually get a job at Marble Slab, so I'm technically an essential worker now, giving me a little bit extra things on my plate to do. But it really changed my whole plan for the semester. There's a lot of knowledge that I'm missing out on and opportunities. I was offered a full-time position at my internship, and I no longer can accept that because they're not going to be hiring. They're not hiring this summer. The school has been put on a hiring freeze. And for the future, I think that it's going to create a lot of innovation, and they're going to want a lot of young brains coming in to the industry to help figure out how we can handle this situation better next time. How can we still allow people to consume sports if there's a pandemic going on, or if there's some unforeseen crazy event that happens? How can we still consume sports? And I think the solution to that problem is going to come from the younger generations that are graduating college. At the end of the day, this was an extremely unfortunate event that happened, but I think it really brought out a lot of good in the community, and I think it really taught us a lot about what we took for granted, and I think it's going to bring a lot of good in the world, especially when the world opens back up. It's going to, I think people are just going to be happy, and I think I think attendance at sporting events is going to go up, and I think that, I really just think it's going to impact the world, or I think that the world is going to be a better place after this, even though we had to take, there's a lot of sad that comes with this and a lot of struggle. There's going to be a lot of growth and opportunity that comes from this. But I will see you next semester, and I hope you have a great day.